The following program is sponsored in part by Cleveland Foundation, City of Cleveland's Cable, Television, Minority Arts, and Education Fund, Media Design Imaging. Creative House Studios.
Hello and welcome to OCA Image TV. I'm Lisa Wong.
And I'm Jason Nguyen. At one time, Cleveland was one of the biggest cities in the United States. Now we're working to redefine ourselves. One way we're doing that is by investing in real estate. And later, we're going to talk to Jeff Johnson about Ward 8, home of Asiatown.
But first, we're going to get right to our top story. Leading the way in the Rust Belt, Cleveland is the city of culture with plenty of opportunity to grow. One way to do that is by taking a deeper look at immigration and foreign investments.
Can you invest in the United States even if you're not a citizen? We sit down with Richard Herman to get those answers.
Hi, I'm Richard Herman. I'm an attorney here in Cleveland, Ohio. I represent immigrants from all over the world, from China and other parts of Southeast Asia. And as they come here to America to start their businesses, to come here to study at universities, and to experience the American dream. An immigrant can own a business in America without actually having any status. They can own a business from abroad. They can own equity interests or shares in a corporation here while living in China. They can invest in real estate while living in China. The question is, how do they come here to take care of their business and take care of their real estate? And that's where I come in. I'm an immigration guy, immigration lawyer, and I help Chinese immigrants come here to get visas, work visas, professional worker visas, and investment visas that oftentimes turn into green cards. And after so usually the process starts with a temporary visa, like an L1 visa, which helps business owners set up an office here, and then transfer them and their family to work here in the United States. Oftentimes the investor invests directly into a business here or into a fund and gets a green card. That's called the EB-5 program. Once they have a green card for 5 years, they can apply for U.S. citizenship. So it's an evolution that takes time before you hit U.S. citizenship. Well, one thing about the United States is it's the best country in the world to start and grow a business. We've got a very established and detailed honored tradition in protecting assets and protecting real property and personal property. For example, intellectual property. If your business develops intellectual property, you can license that in America and prevent others from unlawfully using that intellectual property. The same thing is true for real estate and other things. So it does not matter whether it's a foreign national who owns that business or real estate, or it's an American-born citizen. The U.S. Constitution protects these ownership interests regardless of where you came from. Well, Cleveland and really the Rust Belt area, the Great Lakes area, is Cleveland, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Columbus. This really was the Silicon Valley of the early 20th century. This is the land where Andrew Carnegie started the steel mill, and Rockefeller started the oil wells, and Henry Ford started the revolution on building autos. This is the land where Edison started, and the Wright brothers invented the airplane. Cleveland was the second most prolific city in the world in industrial patent generation in the early 20th century. So this was and continues to be a hotbed of innovation and entrepreneurship. So I think as this region reinvents its economy, what we're finding is that people like to come here to start businesses in real estate, to start businesses in healthcare and biomedical engineering, or plastics or rubber industries. And they're finding it's a good place to raise a family. This is a very inexpensive place in the country. We got great natural resources with Lake Erie and the park system. We've got tremendous assets in the arts, in the Cleveland Orchestra, in sports franchises. My wife is an immigrant from Taiwan. And one of the things that she's always emphasized with me, and as we raise our 2 young children, is, we wanted to have access to the best institutions for education that the world can offer, that America can offer. We have that right here in Cleveland. We have Case Western Reserve. We have universities like Kent State University, Cleveland State, Akron University. For our kids to go to art school at the Institute of Art in Cleveland, and go to the Cleveland Institute of Music for violin and Suzuki lessons. They take Chinese acrobat lessons. They study Chinese here at school. So for us, living in LA or living in New York is not really an option, because we could not access all those services and all those resources so cheaply and quickly. We'd be on the highway for an hour, for example, in LA to reach a piano lesson, or study Chinese. So here we can do that in 5 minutes. So we love Cleveland, and we want to raise our family here. Cleveland is welcoming of immigrants, okay? It's got a rich tradition in welcoming immigrants. It used to be that 1/3 of our population was foreign born. It's dropped down a bit today, but still that tradition of welcoming newcomers is there. I mean, if you ask people on the street for directions, they'll smile and help you. There are many institutions in town that will help you learn English and help you find a job as an immigrant. I think, partly because of work that has been going on for the last few years, we're understanding better that immigrants can actually help build our economy. That when we see the business that's coming in from China and from other parts of the world, we say this is a good thing for Cleveland, so we want to embrace it and welcome it. So I think Cleveland is becoming a global city. I anticipate within 10, 20 years we'll be looked at like Toronto. Toronto is only 5 hours from Cleveland from a drive, and Toronto's 50% foreign born. It's a mecca for global talent, and I think Cleveland's on that road as well. I enjoy living in Cleveland, and I've got a unique perspective to speak from. I'm born in Cleveland, but I lived in other parts of the world. I lived in Europe and Russia for several years. I travel all over the world in my business. I'm an international attorney, an immigration attorney, and I represent immigrants who give me their feedback on Cleveland. I think Cleveland is a very comfortable city to live in. It's a quiet city. It's a great place to start a business and launch it. But there's a lot of resources to help a business grow here. We have a lot of entrepreneurship funds and nonprofit resources that can help connect equity and investment into a business, help an immigrant investor grow their businesses here. I think it's a great place to pursue an education. It's a great place to retire. Why spend $20,000 a month in rent in Miami or in other places when you can spend $1,500 a month and live in a place like Cleveland? Also, from Cleveland, you can access, I think it's about 40% of the population within a 5-hour drive in the United States. So you have a huge market access from this area, and I can get on an airplane and be, almost anywhere in a couple hours in the United States. So for me, for my global business and for my family purposes, I think Cleveland's a great launching pad. What really excites me in Cleveland is seeing the growth of the Asian community here and the diversity of the Asian community. It's not just Chinese. The Asian community is comprised of Filipinos and Koreans and Thai and Taiwanese and others. And so I'm really excited to see that diversity grow and work together. For example, every year we have an Asian festival here in Cleveland, and it keeps growing every year. It's one of the hallmark events in the state of Ohio, and I think other cities around the country are looking to us to learn from them, to learn from us and how we put those on. I think the core group of that is a group of artists and community activists and business people that say, hey, the Asian culture is something beautiful, we want to share it with everybody, including those that are non-Asian. There's this part of downtown, off to the edge of downtown, that is growing as a district called Asian Town. And it's interesting, about 80 years, 90 years ago, that area was called Chinatown. There was a small area that was designated as Chinatown. And we had Chinese merchants come in. Actually, I'm legal counsel for that organization called On Leong, which is a Chinese merchants group here in America. We have offices throughout America, including here in Cleveland. But over the last 5 or 10 years or so, what we've seen is a renaissance in Asian Town. Small businesses starting up, restaurants, import-export businesses, real estate development, people moving in, homes. So I think what we're seeing is a critical mass of Asians and others moving into Asian Town. And that's good for the city, and that's good for our efforts to welcome more Chinese into Cleveland. Yeah, so my wife Kimberly's from Taiwan, and I'm born in Cleveland, and we have a 9-year-old and 8-year-old. And we spend most of our time doing family stuff when we're not working. My wife's a doctor and I'm an attorney, so we're busy during the daytime, but during our off hours, we spend all our time with the kids. We love going to the Cleveland Museum of Art. I think it's a world-class institution, and they actually have classes in the basement for the kids. So the kids can take classes learning techniques of making different styles of art, and they can go upstairs and look at the world's masterpieces. We also like to go to concerts, the Cleveland Orchestra. We go to the Cleveland Zoo, is one of the world-class zoos here in the United States. We also like to go to the lake. The lake, we've got this huge body of water that separates Canada from the United States, and we're right on the edge of it, Lake Erie, and we call that the North Coast. People talk about the South or the West Coast or the East Coast. We're the North Coast. So we like to spend time near the water, and you know, like I said, we spend a lot of time in the park system. We have a world-class park system here in Cleveland for hiking, and in the winter we go skiing, we go canoeing, we go fishing. So for those that want to do a lot of family activities that are in touch with nature or the arts or music, I can think of no better city in America than Cleveland.
Immigrants play a vital role in Cleveland's success, but when it comes to the Asian community, there's only one person in the city that has firsthand knowledge of the area. Serving 25,000 people, Councilman Jeffrey Johnson talks to us about what it means to be in an ethnically diverse neighborhood.
My name is Jeff Johnson. I am a resident of the Glenville community where I live at, I grew up in. I represent an area that is racially diverse, ethnically diverse, and I've been here all my life. I went to school in the area and got a master's and a law degree as well. What Ward 8 includes is the communities of Asiatown, for example, St. Clair Superior neighborhood, University Circle, and the Glenville community. And those are the areas that make up Ward 8. It's about 25,000 people, and it's a racially diverse and ethnically diverse community. The Asiatown neighborhood is a very strong neighborhood that has a number of diverse populations from obviously the Asian community, but it also has a racially black, white, Hispanic population. We have artists within Asiatown, businesses, and it takes a lot to do it. You know, with all that diversity, it means you also have some headaches that you have to just try to organize, and we are now in the process of planning a 10-year development plan for the area so that we can grow properly. What I love again is the people. I love the institutions. There are a number of institutions that help the community, that are businesses, restaurants, the Asian culture. I love the fact that we now have an Asia festival that occurs every year that brings tens of 20,000 folks in the area. And so it's a draw. It is something that we want to build on. Well, Asiatown in the past has always been a strong community, but it has been underdeveloped. It has not had what I consider to be the proper development attention to it. And so, but it has been something that we've always been very proud of. What Asiatown has become successful because we have entrepreneurs who have decided to invest in Asiatown. We have individuals who've actually moved into Asiatown who are very strong. They're homeowner occupied neighborhoods. We have people, ethnic folk who've been there for years who take pride. The St. Clair Superior Asiatown area really was an area that came up through the industry on the railroad and as well. And so it is really an area that has the city of Cleveland has been proud of for many, many years. Because Cleveland is, if you know Cleveland, the reason why Asiatown is important in Cleveland is because if you know Cleveland, you know that it's an ethnic-based city, that immigrants came from all over, African-American community, immigrants. And so Asiatown reflects that, and it's important for us within the city proper to be able to have a community that reflects the Asia-Pacific continent, area, I should say. And Cleveland, that's where it is in Cleveland. Well, I think Cleveland is a good city for Chinese because we do recognize that we have a diverse population. We want to make sure that we have institutions and programs and projects that encourages immigration from China. We really believe that the Chinese will find that this is a friendly community, that those who have come before them from the community have set up their businesses, set up their institutions. And so there's already an infrastructure here for the Chinese, and we're encouraging more and more of them to come. Well, it's important to do business in the Asiatown community because people make money here. You know, when it's all said and done, when we encourage businesses to come, they've got to make money. And we want to be able to, from all walks of life, to come in there, not just restaurants, but also those who deal in the arts, those who deal in the most latest technologies. We're trying to encourage them to come in. We have the space. We have the ability to accommodate what they need, and so we're hoping that they will come and give us a look. What I envision for Asiatown is that we do the proper mix between the residential and industrial and the business. New technology development, we have some great pockets within Asiatown that are looking at the new technology, some that lead in that area. And we want to be able to expand on that. We want to be able to, when people think of Asiatown and Cleveland, that it's one that's not behind, but one that's actually a leader in the area of technology and communications. But at the same time, arts is really a critical factor. And then people who live here I actually believe that this community is for them as well, and not just for folks who come in, spend their money and leave. Well, in the greater Cleveland area, the points of interest for Chinese is that we have a wonderful performing arts sector. We have the Playhouse Square. So if you like the arts, we have it all, from music to the performing arts, live theater. We also have a corridor of healthcare corridor that is one of the best in the world, and that corridor is so significant to the world because of Cleveland Clinic and University Hospitals and what have you. So if they're in the health industry, that definitely is the place to come. But we're also trying to be able to be there for small entrepreneurs who have unique ideas and technology to come here, and for us to be able to give them the necessary support and resources for them to be successful. My favorite place in Asia Town probably is the restaurants. I don't have one favorite restaurant, I have a number of favorite restaurants. It is a way for me to get authentic Asian food, from Vietnamese to Korean to Chinese, and it's just within a short drive, so I'm very happy to have that there. But at the same time, it's also a place for me to be able to go to events there and learn of the culture, and go to the Chinese New Year party, which I love, and always see the dragon. The dragon is a favorite. Well, in the next 2 years, Cleveland can continue to be a city that, a region that deals with high tech, deals with healthcare industry. It's one that is a leader in the arts. It continues to build on what it has now, build capacity, but at the same time, it has to continue to expand with its population and not leave any behind. We do have populations that range when it comes to age and income. And so the ability to create jobs, because part of why we want to encourage individuals from China and from Asia Pacific is that we want them to come here, build their businesses, and create jobs, because we want to continue to grow our community.
Ward 8 has been under a microscope and has been redrawn. Councilman Johnson has a 10-year plan for Asiatown, and many of the projects are on the line. Starting in 2014, the Asiatown neighborhood will be under Councilman TJ Dow in Ward 7.
I'm a single mom. Yes, I'm a tiger mom. I abuse my kids. Arrest me. You know, they can charge the Asian moms with child abuse. They can never charge us with child neglect, because we are always in the face with those kids. And it starts at a very young age. You know, when they are the babies, we moms just control them with their eyes. You know, we just look and the kid gets the message. But when it becomes a toddler and starts talking and becomes a teenager and does not stop talking, then we start adding facial features like this. My son counted the faces I make. He said, I make 49 faces. I said, oh yeah? Here's a 51 for you. I was raised by a tiger mom, and my mom was a real tiger mom. I'm like a watered down version. And we had a lion dad. All I remember about my dad is he would sit in the lazy boy chair all day with a big scowl on his face. And that was mainly for my mom, to restrain her so she doesn't come near him. You know, otherwise she would nag him to death. And my mom kind of monitored the whole house, and she took care of all the kids and kept us in control. But once in a way, when she needed a backup, she would say, Baba, come look at this kid. And we would just tremble. I can't say we tremble in our shoes because we didn't have shoes. So we would just go trembling like this. And then the dad would go, yay! And that's it. We would pee in our pant and go running like this. You know? But you do your best, you know. And I'm trying to write a new book based on my parenting experience. It's going to be titled, What Not to Do in America. You know, if you don't want immigration, all you have to do is put a big billboard on the border and in the airports. If you enter the United States, your kids will stop talking to you when they become teenagers. You can never get them to listen to you. They will drain your money and they will put you in age-old home. Old age home, I should say. The second commandment I have, all the young people in the audience, open up your notepads and start taking notes. Do not get married. If Buddha was on the stage with me today, he would agree. Marriage is the source of all misery. Just get a living companion. This is America. You can have your cake and you can eat it too. And you can go and get more cakes, more flavors, more colors, more shapes. That's the freedom. The second commandment is, if you do get married, do not have any children. Invest your money and get a big box of, what should I say? How do I make it G-rated? Big box of rubber, the one you can blow into balloons. Invest in it because the kids drain your money. And the third commandment I have for the kids is, if you do have children, don't drive them to the college campus. Take them and drop them in the military recruiting office. Bless them. Be all you can be in the army. And then drive away.
Welcome to Cleveland and Asian Festival.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoyed the pollen here. It's free of charge.
After all our rain, yes, absolutely. Is this your first trip to Cleveland?
I think it's my first time performing in a non-college environment here, and it's for the community and all that.
Did you expect this many Asians?
You know what? I had a feeling there were Asians here, but I had no idea that, it's like on Mars. Like you think there's a sign of life? I didn't realize that they are everywhere. No, it's great. It's a very, I'm looking out the window and there's a huge community of all, there's Indian people, there's Caucasian people, there's black people, there's all sorts of other types of Asians, and it's really nice to see everybody pulling together and they're open-minded enough to explore different cultures and all that.
Being one of the 10 most influential Vietnamese Americans, that's huge.
Oh, it's great because I have to really watch what I'm doing on Facebook. I have to be careful who I poke on Facebook, you know what I mean? No, it's a real honor to be nominated by Asian Excellence Awards and also by the Smithsonian Institute, and it's just amazing to be part of. I never thought, I grew up in the ghetto of San Diego, so I never thought one day that my name would be out there. I just gotta try to be a good role model for the kids. I don't realize how young, because of the internet. Because back in the day, Comedy Central, you had to be a certain age to watch and all. And now Comedy Central is re-airing on YouTube and all that. So these kids, I have fans that are like 10 years old coming up to me. I'm like, what? When I won Last Comic Stand, I don't even think you were, old enough to be out of diapers yet. And, so they're kind of looking up to me. I don't know why. I just try my hardest to be, a good example for them.
So anything else about the festival? And do you think if we have it again next year, will you grace us with your presence?
No, I would love to come back. I always try to give back to the community, and even though I'm from San Diego, I feel like wherever I go, all the people are trying to do the same thing of have all the cultures merged together. I also, if you guys could find out when I'm coming back on datfan.com, comedian datfan on Facebook, Twitter, dat_fan. Sorry for plugging myself.
Oh, please do. Shameless
Asian plug right there. And then I have a couple surprises coming up. I'm not allowed to talk about it from the production studios, but we have stuff coming out on TV in a couple of months. So everybody will see from now what will happen.
For Lisa Wong and everybody a part of OCA Image TV, I'm Jason Wynn, and thank you for watching.